Welcome to this edition of Robert Reads for November 2023. And this month we'll be taking a look at a few selections from Madeleine L'Engle. Madeleine L'Engle was born in New York in 1918, and some of her early career activities was around journalism, but also, interestingly enough, as an actress, acting on the, at that time, Broadway theater circuit, where she ended up actually meeting her husband. Anyway, she was mostly known for her works in young adult fiction, and a lot of her work actually came to a lot of critical acclaim for the work. Um, her writing is interesting because it often explored very complex interactions between science and religion and the nature of the universe. And it was this incorporation of science fiction elements that showed up early in her storytelling style that was particularly groundbreaking, especially in the children's literature. In 1963, she actually won the Newbery Medal, which is one of the most sought after awards for children's fiction. And that was for the work of Wrinkle in Time. It was one of the first books that I ever read of hers. And it took me on a long journey through a series of her works, up to and including not only the fictional series around A Wrinkle in Time, but quite a few other books. Some of her critiques on art and literature, which were just lovely, and as well, um, poetry. She's not known for her poetry widely, but she wrote some really wonderful poetry. Um, it's one thing you pick up, and it's across all of her works, is that a lot of it often delved into themes of spirituality and faith, of which she was herself a devout Episcopalian, and actually up until the late 90s, shortly before her passing, actually taught a writing course up at Holy Cross Monastery in West Park, New York. She was living in Connecticut at the time. Anyway, it was a style of very imaginative storytelling and exploration of philosophical and spiritual matters, and it had very broad appeal. Although she said that a lot of her work was aimed towards young adults, many older folks read it and found it quite compelling. Her contributions to literature continue to resonate with a lot of readers around the world, again, broadly across an audience. I would recommend that if you were going to take a look at her poetry, you would probably want to start with the edition known as The Ordering of Love, which is still in print if you'd like to explore her work in poetry. The piece To a Long Loved Love by Madeleine L'Engle is actually a broader piece than we'll read here today. It's actually broken into 7 cantos or songs, if you will, of 8 lines each. And these are the first 2 of the poem. The third song in the series is one of my favorites. We can save that for another time. But for today, we're going to be reading the first 2 songs of To a Long Loved Love. We who have seen the new moon grow old together, who have seen winter rime the fields and stones, and as though it would claim earth and water forever, we have known the touch of flesh and the shape of bones. Know the old moon stretching its shadows across a whitened field, more beautiful than spring with all its spate of blooms. What passion knowledge of tried flesh still yields, what joy and comfort these familiar rooms. In the moonless, lampless dark now of this bed, my body knows each line and curve of yours. My fingers know the shape of limb and head, as pure as mathematics ecstasy endures. Blinded by night and love we share our passion, certain of burning flesh, of living bone. So feels the sculptor in the moment of creation. Madeleine L'Engle, To a Long Loved Love, a really lovely poem. Well, that wraps it up for this November 2023 edition of Robert Reads. We went through the work of To a Long Love by Madeleine L'Engle. We've got some surprises going on here at the Elberon Library coming in December, and we'll have another edition of Robert Reads. That'll round out the year. Anyway, thank you for sharing and enjoying this piece. We'll talk to you soon.